In this video, we're going to be doing a quick overview of the system settings on the Garmin Venu 2. The system settings are a very important part of the Garmin Venu 2. It's where you can manually set the time, you can change the display and the brightness, and also factory reset the watch, as well as many other settings. And if this video helps you, please consider giving it a like and also subscribe to my channel because that really helps me out. So to open up the system settings, all we need to do is hold down the bottom right button just for a second or two till the menu comes up. Then swipe down, select the gear, and then scroll down all the way again and select System. All right, so first in the system settings, we have Auto Lock, and if I select that, we can turn that on or have it on during just activities. Auto Lock just automatically prevents the watch face or the buttons from changing anything on the watch. And this can be useful if you're doing certain activities, maybe boxing, something like that, where the watch face or the buttons will get hit a lot. Going back to the system settings, we have language, and in here we can see all the languages that are available on the Garmin Venu 2. Then all you need to do to choose your new language is select it, and that'll change the language on the watch. After that, in the system settings, we have time, and this is where we can first select the time format. So if we want to do 24-hour, we could do that. You can also select the time source. And if you want it to automatically update, select auto. But if we do manual, it'll then bring us back where then we can select and then manually set the time on the Garmin Venu 2. But I'm going to do automatic. You can also perform a time sync where it will sync the watch with your phone and update the latest time. So that's good if you're changing time zones and it has an update. After time, we have display. And in here, they separate those first by during activity and not during activity. And in here, first, we can change the brightness. So we can turn on automatic brightness, which will automatically change the brightness based on the environment around the watch, or we can manually set it to high, and this will always stay high, but it will use a lot more battery life. Additionally, within the system settings here under display, we can change the display during activities or not during activities. I'll do not during activities, and we can first determine the timeout. So if you want your watch face always on, that's how you would turn it always on. Or you can have the timeout be long, medium, or short. Additionally, in the display settings, we can turn on gestures, and this is where the display or backlight will turn on if you turn the watch face towards you. You can also change the sensitivity for that. Going back in the system settings, we have vibration, and this is where you can turn off or change the vibration level on the watch. Maybe if it's too loud or not strong enough, you can change that to whatever you want. After vibration in the system settings, we have Do Not Disturb. And this is where you can turn on or off Do Not Disturb manually, but you can also turn on and off the automatic Do Not Disturb mode, which will happen during your sleep time, and this can be configured on the watch. Going back into the system settings, after that we have units, and this is where you can determine the units used on the watch for different measurements and things like that. So if you want to change to Celsius or other measurements, kilometers, things like that, you can do that under units in the system settings. After units, we have data recording, and this is where you can change it to every second or smart. Smart will be better on your battery life. Every second might be a little bit more accurate. Going back in the system settings after that, we have USB mode, and this is really just for Garmin's sake, but you can determine what happens when you plug this into your computer. After USB mode, we have reset, and this is where you can perform not only a factory reset by selecting delete data and reset settings, you can also reset all the settings back to default while keeping the data on the watch by selecting reset default settings. After reset in the system settings, we have software update, and this is where it will check to see if there's an update available, and if there's one available, you can go ahead and have that installed on the watch. After software update, the last thing we have in the system settings is about, and this is where you can go in here and you can find out the unit ID. This might be useful for working with Garmin support, and you can also find other information about your Garmin watch by scrolling down. All right, so those were the system settings on the Garmin Venu 2. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.